Welcome to our online training. This is part 1 of a 3-part training that will cover the Enhanced System Tester. Today we will be covering what the System Tester is and what it is used for, including how to research and select pre-built system tests. We'll also cover choosing securities, selecting the dates to run your test against, and how to select the appropriate system tester options to run the simulation with. Today's training is designed to instruct in some of the basics of Metastock and the Downloader program. We will provide some guidelines for using certain features within the software. However, nothing presented in this training is intended as or should be construed to be a recommendation to buy or sell any specific security. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risks inherent in trading. Equus shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of their software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. At the conclusion of this training module, you should understand what the Enhanced System Tester is, what the Enhanced System Tester is used for, where to research system tests, how to select the system test, securities, and dates to run the simulation on, how to select the appropriate system tester options for the system test. The Enhanced System Tester is a key element in evaluating a system's historical profitability. The system tester can evaluate historical profitability using either built-in or custom system tests. This process helps determine how a simulated trading style would have performed over the specified date range. Some of the uses of the Enhanced System Tester are testing pre-built system tests, writing and testing personally designed system tests, examining test results by plotting buy arrows, sell arrows, equity lines, and analyzing the results, details, report, automatically optimizing parameters within the trading rules to improve the results, comparing trading systems to find out which system works best on a particular security. When constructing individually designed trading formulas, Metastock's formula development team is available for help. Custom formula requests can be sent to our formulas team by email. Due to the complexity of the formula language, we do not support custom formula design over the phone or chat. Please allow our formula team up to 10 days to respond to your email. Finally, we do reserve the right to charge for any formula requested. In that case, you will be notified before the design of the formula. The email for the formula development team is formulas@equus.com. We will begin by opening the Enhanced System Tester and looking at the System View window. To open the tester, select Tools, Enhanced System Tester, or click on the $ icon at the toolbar on the top. Now that the Enhanced System Tester is opened, the main screen in our view is the System View window. From left to right on the top toolbar, we have New System. Use this to create a custom system test for the Enhanced System Tester. Edit allows you to edit system tests formulas. Please note that some system tests are password protected and cannot be edited. Copy makes a copy of the selected system test. Delete removes the selected system test from the menu. The Organizer function allows you to import and export formula files. Options opens the Enhanced System Tester Options window. Within this window there are 3 sections: Trading Signals, Equity Line, and Results Cleanup. Under Trading Signals, you can change the colors for the buy arrows, sell arrows, stop sign, and the exit sign. Display Trading Signals displays the results of the test when they are plotted on the chart. When Label Signals is checked, 2 numbers appear above each trading signal. The first number is the order number. The second number in parentheses indicates how many shares were bought or sold. Replace existing signals replaces any old signals with the test's new signals. If equity line is selected, an equity line will be plotted on the chart. uncheck the Plot Equity Line box to see the test results without an equity. The option Replace Existing Lines will replace the old equity line with the simulation's new equity line. Results Cleanup removes previous simulation results. This helps reduce the amount of hard drive space simulations use. Place a check mark in Prompt for Cleanup after and then select the number of simulations. Once the system reaches this number of simulations, it will prompt for cleanup. By clicking on Clean Now, the program will run the cleanup wizard, freeing up space on the hard drive. After clicking on Clean Now, the Cleanup Wizard dialog box appears. There are 3 options within the box. 1. To discard after a selected number of days. 2. To discard any unprofitable results. And 3. To compact the results database. Place a check mark in front of the processes you want to run. Now click on Clean and the Cleanup Wizard will run. After the Cleanup Wizard runs, click OK. Next, click on OK again to return to the Enhanced System Tester system view. The next option in the menu above is Print. Print prints the selected information. Help. This displays the Metastock Help menu. It automatically defaults to the Enhanced System Tester section of the Help menu. On the far left side in the System section, this is where all the system tests, both pre-built and custom, are listed. Directly to the right of the Systems box on the top is the Summary box. The information in this box is always taken from the most recent simulation. If a single test is run across a group of securities, the box shows the 5 most profitable securities. If multiple system tests are run against one security, it will list the 5 most profitable system tests for that one security. The Trading Simulations section provides the name of the simulation, the number of results, the status, and the date range of the previously run simulations. The New Simulation button on the bottom left allows you to run a new simulation in the Enhanced System Tester. The View, Cancel, and Discard buttons will be grayed out until a saved simulation is highlighted within the Trading Simulation. The single most important procedure in using the Enhanced System Tester is selecting the system test. All system tests, whether custom or pre-built, are listed under the Systems on the left side. The most common way to get information about the system test included in the Enhanced System Tester is to check the review notes. To review those notes, we need to access the System Editor screen. To edit a particular system test, highlight the system test and select Edit from the main menu at the top. Click on the General tab. If notes are provided, they can be found here. Another way to open the System Editor window is to double-click onto the system test. For this example, we will double-click on the equus Bollinger Bands. This will open the System Editor window. Click on the General tab. Under the General tab is a section for notes. This section will explain what the system test calculates when it is run against securities. The amount of detail in each set of notes varies. Some notes are very detailed, and others simply reference outside sources like magazine articles or individual studies for more information. If the system test comes from an add-on or plugin and there are no notes listed in the system editor, your best resource is to refer to the manual for that add-on or plugin. If unsure who to contact, please call Metastock customer support and we would be happy to help you. Once the system has been selected, the next step is choosing the securities to run the system test on and select the date range to test. For this example, we will use the equus moving average crossover system test. To select this test, click on New Simulation. This will bring up the Perform Trading Simulations dialog box. First, we'll select the system to use. Highlight the equus moving average crossover with optimization and select Next. We can now add securities to our test. To add securities, click on the Add Securities button. This will bring up the Add Securities dialog box. This box is the same as the Open dialog box in Metastock. Using this box, we can add local securities from the hard drive or securities from the Data on Demand feature. We can also select from the History folder and the Favorites. For more information about the differences between the options available in this screen, please watch our training module on the Open dialog box. For this example, we will add securities using Data on Demand. To do this, click onto the bottom left tab. The tab is labeled Quote Center if you are using Metastock Professional Intraday Data or Reuters Data Link if you are using Metastock End of Day. We'll run our system test against all the securities in the NASDAQ 100. So let's open Stocks Common, then NASDAQ 100. This will now list all the securities for the NASDAQ 100. To only select a handful of specific securities, hold down the Control key and click to highlight the securities you want. If you want to select every security within a folder, the easiest way is to click on the Tools in the top right-hand corner and choose Select All. After the securities have been highlighted, we need to select our periodicity. To select the periodicity, use the drop-down box located directly below the Quote Center or Reuters Data Link button. For this example, we will use the daily periodicity. Select Daily and then click on Open. This will bring us back to the Select Securities window. In this window, it will show columns for symbol, name, periodicity, and the date range. To add another list of securities, simply select Add Securities a second time and repeat the above process, selecting a different folder, for example, the S&P 500. To remove specific securities from the Select Securities list, highlight the securities and click Remove. If all the securities need to be removed, click on the Remove All button. Now that the securities are listed in the Perform Trading Simulations window, let's choose the date range. The date range column shows how many periods the system tester will use when doing its calculations. The default range is 250 periods prior to today's date. This means that the system tester will only look at the 250 bars prior to today's date. To change the periods used to either a specific date range or number of periods larger or smaller than 250, click on the Dates button in the right-hand corner. This will bring up the Simulation Dates window. For this example, we will use the price data from the last 250 periods. Now click OK, and this will bring us back to the Select Securities box. Now that the system test has been selected, the securities have been picked, and the dates have been set, we are ready to move to the next section. Click on Next. Within System Testing Options, there are 3 sections. There is a Trading section, which determines if the test is a points-only test or an equity test. Second is the Portfolio section, which tells the system how to handle open positions. And the last section is Results. This section determines how the simulation will perform and the reports it calculates. Let's start with the Trading section. System testing on futures and commodities is done by performing a points-only system test. If the points-only test is selected, the equity information will be grayed out because the test will not be based on currency values. If we are trading stocks or other securities with currency values, we need to select an equity test. This will give us the option to state the initial equity our account would start with. For this example, we will use 10,000. Now, the default size can be changed to 1, the number of units to purchase, 2, transaction costs, or 3, the percent of available equity to use. Number of units sets the maximum number of units to buy. Transaction cost will use the amount placed in the box for each transaction. This number includes margin requirements and commissions. Percent of available equity. This will only purchase the number of shares for the percent of equity that is available at that time and is our recommended option. Today, we will use percent of available equity and place 80 in the box. The next section is portfolio. This is where the system tester is told if it should consider long positions, short positions, or both. If we do not want to close all positions on the last bar, uncheck that option. The third section under the system testing options is results. Place a check mark in "This simulation will be a quick test." Store summarized results only to perform a quick test. A quick test does not generate the positions, equity, and orders reports that a normal simulation does. A quick test takes less time to run than a normal simulation, and the results take up less disk space. We recommend quick tests when you're running multiple system tests against a list of symbols to see which system test outperformed the others. Place a number in where it says, "Keep the blank most profitable results for each optimized test." The system test will keep the X number of most profitable optimized values when running an optimized test. For training purposes, we will keep the default selection. Now click on the More button for further options. In here you can set broker and margin requirements. We can also place trade execution or slippage information on certain bars. Inside the system testing options, there will be two tabs available, Broker and Trade Execution. Under the Broker tab, there are three sections. Interest rates. Enter the percentage for the margin or money market interest rate. Margin requirements. Enter the percentage value for the margin requirements. The long initial calculates the initial equity necessary to open a long position on margin. The long maintenance calculates the initial equity necessary to maintain a long position on margin. The short initial calculates the equity necessary to open a short position on margin. The percentage can be as low as 101% or as high as 200%. And the short maintenance calculates the equity necessary to maintain a short position on margin. The third section on the Broker tab is Commissions. This deals with payouts of commissions. There are three different ways commissions are paid out. Those options are available through the drop-down menu. Points per transaction, points per units, and percent of transaction. Select the value of the commission on either the entry and/or exit. For training purposes, we will leave all these values as default. For more information on the options within the Broker tab, select Help from within this window. Next, let's click on the Trade Execution tab. This tab has two sections, Trade Price and Slippage. When realistic market prices are checked, any of the triggered orders are executed at the open of the next bar. If you want to specify when to execute the order, uncheck this and customize the options below. There is also the option to delay the order a certain number of bars. This automatically defaults to 1. For training purposes, we will check realistic market prices. Slippage lets you introduce a degree of slippage to the system by simulating a change in price from signal to execution. For example, the stock has reached $20, so you call your broker and tell him to sell 100 shares. By the time the trade executes, the price may have changed. Slippage conservatively simulates this phenomenon by lowering all types of trades by a specific percentage or number of points. For training purposes, we will leave this blank. After customizing the options, click OK. This will bring us back to the original System Testing Options box. Now click on Next. To customize the name of the simulation, change it in the box where it says Simulation followed by a number. Under To evaluate the system, the chosen system test will be listed. Finally, for both long and short positions in is the list of securities the simulation will run its calculations against. The system tester will now perform the simulation once the Start button is clicked. To begin, click the Start button. This will run the simulation. We have now completed Part 1 of the Enhanced System Tester online training. We have defined what the system tester is and what it's used for. We have explained how to research and select pre-built systems. We also covered choosing securities, modifying dates, and selecting appropriate options to run the simulation with. We wish you wonderful success with our outstanding software.